Welcome, everybody. This is the iBUG Android Insight Call on the third Wednesday of the month. This is December 21st, 2022, our last meeting for the year of 2022. So, this call is all about our Android platform. So we will talk about with open conversations about our Android phones, our Alexa devices, Google devices, our tablets that run on the Android platform. So just know that we're a community here where we're about helping each other, answer questions that are needed, find resolutions to some issues, and also to help new users learn more about their device. So, my name is Ava Caruth. I am one of the hosts, and my co host is Hershey.
Hey, good evening. I'm Hershey from Daytona Beach. I am welcoming everybody here. It's one more, this is the last month. Wow. 12
Yes.
months, and I hope that everybody has some nice questions for us boiling up and look forward for the rest of the show.
Okay. A little bit about iBug today. You can go to ibugtoday.com where you can find out more information about iBug and a lot of the events they host during the month. One of the upcoming events this Friday will be the movie, and it is A Wonderful Life. It starts at 8 p.m., but you're welcome to come in at 7:30 for a little pre-show fun time and stay on after the movie because they have even more fun after that. And just remember, all of our stuff is being recorded. So if you want to listen to any previous recordings of the iBug Android call, just go to ibugtoday.com, go to the iBug Android link, and you will find all of our previous listings there, as well as we are found on YouTube under iBug. You can either search for iBug or search for iBug Android Insights, and you'll find us there as well. Okay, Hershey.
So, I guess I should also remind you if you want to also join our list, to give you that address real quick, it's iBug Android Insight plus subscribe at groups.io. That if you send us a blank email on there, that'll put you on our mailing list. So that way, if you want to know any of the upcoming events or want to know a quick tip that we might have found, you have a question when we're not around between the 2 or 3 weeks that we're not on, you could shoot us a quick email and we could try to respond and get you an answer.
All right. So let's do a little bit of roundabout. Let's see who's on our show today. So let's everybody introduce themselves. Let us know if you're new to the show, how you heard about us, what type of Android device that you have. And if you're old to the show, just let us know who you are.
Hi, this
This
is
is
Janice.
Shay. Oh, you go first.
I'm sorry. This is Janice. I'm new to the program. I can't wait to dig in and throw out some questions. I have a Samsung TV. I have a Galaxy Z Fold 2, and I have 3 Echo devices. And a friend turned me on to you. And so I've been listening to previous recordings, and I'm really looking forward to participating.
Nice. Well, welcome. Nice to have you.
Okay, next. I think I heard Sandia.
I think it was Shay. This is Shay in Everett, Washington. I'm so happy to be here. This is my favorite call.
Thank you, Shay. Welcome.
Thank you. I have an Android phone. I just got a new Android tablet. My old one died. I have 3 Echoes. We have a Samsung phone, or no, excuse me, TV. And the kids have a bunch of stuff too. But I'm so glad to be here. Thank you.
Nice to have you again. Thank you for coming. Go ahead with the next person.
Hi, this is Michael. I am on the beautiful Oregon coast. This is my second time being to this call, and I have a Pixel 6 Pro and not so many Alexa lady devices, but more Google Assistant devices around the house.
Nice to have you again. I do remember you coming in a couple 6 months ago, feels like it, but welcome back. Anybody else want to introduce yourself? Let us know where you're from, what kind of Android devices you might have.
Sonia in Houston, and I have way too many A lady devices and 1 Pixel phone in my drawer. And thank you. That's all I have.
Oh, goodness gracious. Thank goodness that phone's not in the garage no more. Oh, it's
Not
back
in
in the
the
house
garage.
in the cold drawer. Nice. But is the A lady box still behind the TV? Is it still stuck back there?
Oh, it's fine. It was
Okay.
just a loose connection. Thank you for asking. Okay.
Sure thing. Well, if anybody else wants to introduce themselves, go ahead.
This is Shree from Virginia. I just have a bunch of alien devices.
Hey. Welcome back, Shree. Nice to see you. Anybody else wants to introduce themselves? Let us know where you're from.
This is Kevin in
Richard
Austin.
from New York.
Go ahead, Kevin.
I have a Pixel 6 Pro, a Galaxy S22, and several other devices and watches and earbuds and Google devices and a lady device.
Nice. Well, nice to have you back, and happy holidays. And you're gonna be answering a lot of questions with all those devices I hear about. And I heard something about New York. So if next person wants to introduce himself.
Richard from New York. I have the smart Android Revo 4 that came out this year, and I have the Alexa Echo.
Welcome back. Nice to have you again. Anybody else? Hey, who am I doing? Who's the co-host here? Who am I doing the show with again? Who are you again? She slipped away. Anyway, well, to let you guys know about who we are, again, I'm Hershey Trevetti. Central Florida is where I'm from. I have in my arsenal of phones a Samsung S22 Ultra, Note 9. Note 9 is one of my favorites. Pixel 4 XL, Pixel 6 Pro, and a Google Pixel Chromebook, which it's interesting. And then, a swath of Google speakers with screens and without. So we'll see what else people have out here.
And yes, Hershey caught me when I was trying not to sneeze.
Bless you.
Yeah. I'm Ava. I'm from Houston. I have Alexa devices. I have everything from a Dot to the Echo Shows. I have Google Assist device. I have my Samsung Note Ultra 20. I also have a Samsung TV as well. So, and the funny thing of my whole day this week is I actually found one of my Alexa devices still in the garage in a box. So
Hey, Ava, let's remind them, let's not say that word, because then everybody's A-lady is going to go off, and it's going to be, let's not say that word, right?
Oh yeah, but yeah, keep forgetting everybody may
So
still
let's
be
spell
Lady
it out
A.
if we are talking about it, or let's call her Lady A so that way we don't have
Yep.
everybody's speakers yapping back at us. Thank you. All right. If anybody else, I saw a couple people snuck in there, and if you want to introduce yourself, let us know where you're from, what type of device you might have, and yeah. Uh-oh, I saw a name that I recognize. Mr. Foster's up in there. Do you want to introduce yourself, Mr. Foster?
Right. Hello, everyone. My name is Foster. I'm from Houston, Texas. Let's see, I have a OnePlus 8, some Echo devices, some Google speakers, some Chrome TV. So, yeah.
Nice to have you, and really glad to have everybody. A lot of returns, Ava. This is good stuff, huh?
Yes, it is. So,
I thought I heard somebody else. Anybody else want to introduce?
Yes, this is Helene. I am in Arizona right now. I live in Woodstock, New York, during the winter, and now during the summer, but the winter I'm here. So I have an Alexa. I'm sorry, I have an A lady, and I have a Z person in the other room. I have two devices, and I'm having some difficulty because it doesn't recognize that I'm in Arizona. So it keeps saying go into your devices, and I find the voiceover doesn't work well with my A lady on my app. And I wanted to know, when I ask where am I, like what's the weather, it says I don't know where you are.
Interesting. Well, if anybody else wants to just introduce himself, if not, let's try to answer Miss Aline's question and welcome Miss Aline to the call. And hopefully Arizona is much warmer than Woodstock, New York. So glad that you joined the call. And if anybody else wants to introduce himself, if not, maybe help Miss Aline answer a question.
This is Marie from Reno.
Hi,
Yes,
welcome.
I just came in. I don't. Well, I do have a Google Mini as the only Android device that I own. Well, I do have the Amazon Echoes, but I didn't know if they were considered Android devices. I suppose they are. I have had an Android phone, but I don't have one currently. But I would just like to keep up to date on what's going on with Android.
Well, we appreciate you that you joined us tonight, and thank you for coming along. And hopefully, if you have questions, we might be able to answer them. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
This is Renee in Ohio.
Hey, welcome.
I have quite a few Android devices, some TVs, and the Google smart speakers and Android phones, tablet, Chromebook.
That is awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And that's the thing, when we say these words, they like to go off. So, oops.
Oops.
All right. So if there is anybody else that would like to introduce himself, please go ahead and say it now. And then if not, Miss Lean had a question about getting, appropriate weather on her Amazon device. Anybody have any kind of suggestions to what could be the settings that might be kind of triggering a I don't know where you are, or settings that Miss Aline could look at with their Amazon device that will provide her the weather in her region currently as she's traveling? Any settings or any places that she should look at first?
This is Kevin.
Hey, Kevin, go ahead.
I know that it's in the settings in the menu. Under the settings, I guess it's under location, and it won't just do it for you because there's no GPS like there is in a phone. So you're gonna have to manually go do it. There's probably a command that you can give it now that will fix it, but I don't know what that is. But I've never. It's I usually when I travel, I take my Google devices instead of my Alexa devices, and because I'm using the Google Home app, it updates the weather based on what my phone tells it. But I don't know exactly how to do it on the Echo except for manually.
Thank you for that answer. Anybody else want to add on to Kevin's suggestion for Miss Aline?
This is Ava.
It's Marie.
Oh, go ahead, Marie.
I just wonder, since she's using her iPhone to control her device, there might be a possibility if she goes into the iPhone settings and goes to location services and see if location services is turned on there for the Amazon app.
Great point, Miss Marie. And if I could just kind of talk to that real quick. So location on iPhone and Android do work similarly. So as we've described on an iPhone, you would go to the settings and then look for location. Similarly, you'll do the same on Android. So if your location might be off, that might be causing the issue. So let's imagine you're on a tablet and the location is turned off on that tablet and it's an Amazon Fire tablet or what have you. You might be incurring those issues because it doesn't have a location to pick off at, or the GPS doesn't know where that device is. So just to let people know, both devices have a lot of similarities in processes, as location is one of the things that lets those things like assistants and such know where you are to give you information.
This is Helene.
Go ahead.
I have a question regarding what your answer is. The menu seems to be on the Echo itself. So you're supposed to do something, but I don't know, being visually impaired, which one of those things to press. And they said, do something, pressing something, or go into your A-Lady app on your phone. But because I have two places, I'm not sure how to do it. So now my workaround is I literally say, what's the weather like in Phoenix? Because if I say a specific place, then it can say the weather in Phoenix is blah, blah, blah. So that's how my workaround.
And that's absolutely true, as Miss Marie stated, with that location data. And this is Hershey, by the way, sorry about not mentioning my name every time I spoke. But what it does is it picks off that detailed of that. So it pings that area, right? It pings a tower, it pings a Wi-Fi, and it gathers that information off of it. And when you go to that ALXCA app, and under those menus, you might find, it's been a while, I'm more in the Google ecosystem. So it's been a while since I've looked in the Echo side of things, but there might be where you could add two homes. I know on my Google Home app, for example, I could set up more than one location. So if I'm on vacation or if I have another, home that I go to, I could have all my smart devices still work the way they do, but I would have to connect to that specific home. So you might look at the ALXCA app to see if there's a whole little section there that you could have a couple different locations, and that way you don't have to purge away your settings for back home in Woodstock, and then when you're in Phoenix, you'll have your information that you need.
Yeah, thank you.
This is Kevin. I just looked. And it is called My Locations, and you can add other ones, or you can just go and edit what's your current home address, and then it actually says so that you can get more relevant data for, just quick answers and stuff. So, but you probably can add, right now it just shows work and home for me, but you can add, it says add new location, so you can add other locations. And then you'll just have to go in there and manually switch to the one that you want to use currently. So you go down to, on Android, you go to open up the app, go to more, and
And
then
that app, one
down
more
at the
time, is
bottom it
the
says
Kevin, the app that you're speaking of is which one to open up?
the Amazon Alexa app of the actual A-Lady app,
Okay.
and go down to more, and then on hours it's more, and then to settings, which is down at the end of the list, and then locations. There's notifications there and a lot of other stuff, but one of them is my locations.
Okay. Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Thank you, Kevin.
This is Sri.
Go ahead, Sri.
I just want to say, I want to echo what was just mentioned. It's the same settings on the iPhone if Helene wants to use your iPhone.
So
It's the same path.
interchangeably on both, even though it's an Android platform, it's the same settings.
Yeah, exactly the same path that was mentioned. It's the same path on the iPhone. So more settings, location.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that, Sri.
This is Janice. I have
Go ahead,
a
Miss Janice.
similar question. I have an Echo Show and an Echo Dot. I had the Show first, and it's in my kitchen. And when I set up the Dot, I accidentally set it up so it says it's in my kitchen. So now when I ask it something in my office, I can hear it down in the kitchen responding. How do I break those apart?
Anybody have an answer how to make your speaker behave?
I need to reset it and set the Dot to be in office, to say office, or and then the show can stay kitchen.
Perfect. Anybody have answers? I know my co-facilitator is I call her Miss Amazon Queen over there, but maybe someone has an answer for you.
This is Kevin. I haven't done this in a long time on Alexa. I do this over and over and over again on Google, but in Google, it's under groups and rooms, and you just have to take it out of that room and move it to the room that you want it in. But I have to look and see on Alexa again, but it's going to be something dealing with groups or either rooms. It's called rooms on, well, they have groups and rooms on the home app, but I have to look on the other app to see where they've moved it to. But you just have to take it out of that room and tell it that you want to put it in the den or whatever, and then it'll stop.
Yeah, I need to change the room.
Hey, this is Hershey, and to kind of piggyback on that, just a workflow that I have in my head. I don't know if this is what I would do anyway. If I would go under the app, I would look at the device, specifically like we're talking about the Dot, and then go to the device settings, and it gives you information about the device and the MAC address, like particulars. And in that, there might be that group section as we were talking, because I also am more familiar on the Google Home side and finding, changing different rooms or speaker names. Ava did show us a couple months back a way to speak to your speaker, and then also you could potentially change the name that way. So you might ask your speaker to say, change speaker name to, XYZ. I'm not always in the Amazon ecosystem is hardcore, so I don't want to give you a justified answer, but if anybody else does want to chime in, please feel free. And the other way is the app, as I mentioned, to look under either the speaker. You could delete the speaker for all it matters. It doesn't make a difference. And then reset it, and then set up the rooms. And what happens when you do that is you start building the familiarity of the app, and it just becomes easier. So then when you have a new speaker, new devices, adding, removing becomes, it's not just, you don't have to look at it. It just, boom, it's done. So it's encouraged that if you want to test out stuff, go ahead and delete the speaker. It's not a big red button. If you press it, it's going to, go kaboom. It's not something like that. It's
Mm-hmm.
more so that it's trial and error. And nowadays, voice does a lot of different things. A lot of people have different abilities. So, you might have, hey, Z, change the speaker name to, Denzel or something. I don't know. You could maybe make it say different things that way. So you might test out just to play around, and then to definitely the app would have the cream of the crop there. And I'll let anybody else feedback on that.
This for me.
Go ahead, Marie.
You're right about changing the names. That would be the easiest way. If she's using the same wake word for both devices, if she changes them so they have different wake words, even though the other device may hear her, it's not going to answer, it won't respond. Only the ones that has that wake word is going to respond.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. That's a workaround. Mm-hmm. Yeah, gotcha.
Well, perfect. Thank you for that question. It's a good way to learn from all of us. The practice makes perfect, right? So we don't always play in that ecosystem and then we kind of feel, oh, it's Android. Oh, it's different. It's not that different. It's just the same process. Go to settings, change that one setting, and most of the time that's all you need. But I'll let the floor open up for another question.
This is Renee.
Go ahead.
I have a weird situation. We have a smart bulb in our master bedroom, and it's the only one that does this. It's named after me, Renee, and it's on my nightstand, and I can tell it to turn off Renee or turn on Renee. My husband always has to say, turn off Renee in the bedroom. Why does he have to add that? Does anybody know why?
Could you specify the ending? This is Hershey again. Could you specify the ending there? Why does he have to add?
He has to specify what location it's in. Only for that bulb. He has to say, turn off Renee in the bedroom.
But
and
you can just say, turn off Renee.
Yes.
Turn off.
Or yes. Mm-hmm.
You said a light bulb.
Yep, it's a light
Right.
bulb. Yeah.
Okay.
And when he says
Probably-
just turn off Renee, it won't turn off.
No, he has to say turn off Renee it won't. He has to say turn off Renee in the bedroom. Otherwise, if he says turn off Renee, it doesn't respond.
Okay. So is it so you have a Google speaker in the bedroom?
Yeah, and it's a what do you call the K? Those light bulbs. The
No, I'm not worried about the light bulb. The speaker.
Yeah,
the speaker is.
It's a Google display in the bedroom.
Okay, so it's probably because that display is probably more so set up to your voice, like voice recognition and stuff. So then if he comes in, he would have to specifically say which room to turn off. The reason why I know that is because most of the devices set up in my house, the Google devices, I set them up. So when my wife and my daughter use them, they have to specifically say which room that they want something to play on, or they have to add that on which room that they want it to happen in.
And that's interesting because that's the only one. We have another display in the kitchen that doesn't do that. And we have about 4 other speakers. That's the only one that does that. And it only does it to him. And I'm trying to remember, did I set that one up? Maybe I did originally.
That could be the reason.
But I could have sworn he went through and reset up everything because we were trying to get it more organized, but still working on that. Well, I have to see. Maybe that is the situation because I set it up. I don't know how to alleviate that though.
Hi, this is Hershey, and thank you, Foster, for that answer. I just wanted to add to that. It does sound kind of like you're going in the right direction with that, and it's always like if you're using the Google Home app, for example, going in there and adding your voice to it, I could then control different lights in different rooms and such. So when I set my light bulb up that way, I know that I had all the family member set up their voice to match it. So that really could be the factor that could make it from it having to add the word bedroom rather than just saying turn off the name of the thing.
So maybe he needs to do voice, make sure his voice match is set up correctly with that.
Correct,
display.
like that account. And so like when you have your Google Home app, you'll have a location. So let's call it the crib, and within that, you would then have people in your group. So you would have, let's say, yourself, the dog and the cat and him, right? Everybody has a different a phone or device. The cat uses another device and the dog uses another device. And, we use our iPhone and you use an Android. Everyone has a different device, but to get it, everyone's still part of that home. So when you do locations, as we were talking about the question earlier, you could set different locations. So you could set it to the location that you're at there. You could set it to your office, and then having a voice match and having that person part of your group, that just lets them know that I could share information. Or you might have a calendar or a honey-do list, and you use Google Keep, for example, to write, hey, get milk, get eggs, and bread. Oh yeah, don't forget the broccoli and the paper towels. And that list then could be shared right away because that person's already on your list of people or in your family. And that could be another quick way of getting things done and sharing items together.
Okay.
Okay. Let me break in real quick for a second. This is Ava. Michael, and just to let everybody else know, we do not have to raise our hands. All we do is just wait for a lull, say your name, and then wait to be recognized, okay? Because I see Michael has his hand up.
Copy that. Thank you for letting me know that. I will keep my hand lowered.
Did you have a question or a comment?
I had a question, so I was letting you guys go ahead and finish, and then I will throw my question out there.
Okay.
So are we kind of clear with the
question, Miss Kevin?
Okay, Kevin, just one quick second. Just want to make sure, are we clear on the last question there? Or Kevin, do you want to speak on that perhaps?
Well, I wanted to ask her, is that the only light bulb that they have of that brand? Is that the only location that there is a light bulb?
No, we have a few of the Casa light bulbs, and some of the other ones are on switches. But there's two of those light bulbs in the bedroom, and that's the only one that does that. And then we have another one in two other rooms.
So the reason that it's doing that is because you do have more than one, and so it's actually just kind of taking a chance on what you want to turn off most often when you give that command. But the way that it's requiring him to do it is the way that it's supposed to act, because you have more than one of those light bulbs in more than one location in the home. So what you could do to shorten it is you could set up a routine so he could just say, hey, G word or whatever, like bananas, and then it could turn off the lights in a specific room. You could do a routine like that. But anytime that it requires a location, it's because you have more than one. And what it's probably doing is the distance thing, because you're in the room where the speaker is, and you might have been the one that set up, or maybe it's in your name, or I don't know. But the way that it's requiring him to do it is actually the way that it's supposed to work, because you have more than one location. And at some point, it might stop asking him because he's in the room with the light bulb, but that's why it's doing that.
Yeah, it did not used to require him to do that. It just has done that in the last.
Probably just switch back and start acting correctly at some point. If he gives that same command over and over, and they realize that if it realizes, it kind of learns you.
Kind of like training a dog, huh?
Yeah, so it might actually stop that, but that's probably why it just kind of knows what you want most of the time, and it's just learning what he wants again.
Okay, well, we'll see if there's anything he needs to do about the voice recognition, but hopefully it will go away if the voice recognition doesn't work. Thanks for your input.
Thank you for your question. All right, any other questions? I think Foster, and if Kevin, if you had any other extra there.
This is Sri.
Go ahead, Sri.
Yeah, one thing I'm going to suggest, especially when you have a lot of devices in your house, spend a few moments thinking about how you want to name things before you start naming things. And just from experience, that will probably make a lot of the headaches go away. So just think logically how and where these things are, and then think about how you want to label it.
Hey, thank you, Shri. And this is Hershey again. Shri made a good point with that. And what also could be a security measure, if you want to call it that somewhat, is naming a room, and let's just call it the safari room, call it the jungle room, call it the banana room. I don't know. You have 3 different rooms, but no one's going to understand that's your master bedroom. No one's going to understand that's your child's bedroom or whomever, right? So we want to protect yourself in the sense of what your house is about, or how it's, how many bulbs and such. That if you just name it something more clever in that sense of rooms, and then say, okay, turn off the safari room, and then everything that's in the safari room, could be the living room, would turn off. And those routines could be a little bit easier, and their phrases and their words that are specific to you and your naming scheme. So there's pros and cons to that both ways. Sometimes I will try to mess with my room here, and I'll go mess with the whole house. And someone might be sleeping, and all of a sudden they have a light in their face. So yeah, I've had a couple occasions where the AI isn't quite helpful, but just it's a good way of just naming things, where if you're, top lamp, bottom lamp, left lamp, right lamp, and then when you say those things in that specific room with that speaker, you could say, okay, turn off left lamp, okay, turn off above, or do this and do that, and you have more control of quickly saying stuff, rather than, like the example we used, turn off the Renee bulb in the room or the bedroom. Well, is it the room or is it the word bedroom, right? So if you name it specifically, it could also alleviate some of those issues. All right. If anybody else has more questions, please bring on in.
This is Michael.
Go ahead, Michael.
So I'm sure it's something simple. I am on Android 13 with this Pixel 6 Pro, and I'm coming at this from an iOS perspective. So things are probably supposed to be done a little bit differently. But I have group-related conversations enabled in Gmail. So subject lines have, so messages are in groups. What's the best way to get from message to message in a thread?
Anybody have an answer for Michael that I could help him?
This is Kevin.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Usually in the conversation view like that with the groups, if you're swiping through, once you open a message, you just flick to the left and right to move through the, list of messages like normal. But once you have it open, usually there is something that will say collapsed if there's too many messages and you have to expand it. But most of them will be there. I saw a version of this where there were headers or headings for the different messages, but that hasn't been pushed out yet. So they are taking a look at Gmail in the group view, but I usually leave that, for accessibility reasons, I usually leave that turned off. But there might be a collapse. If there's more than 4 messages or 5 or something like that, there's some kind of collapse thing that you can expand to see the rest of them. But lots of times you can just flick through there once you have the message thread open, and you can just go to each one. But to me, it's not as smooth as like going through a message thread and messages or something like that.
Perfect. So then it's not just me, because there's some people out there who have 4,000 words in their signature, and it drives me crazy. Anyways, right. Thank you.
You're welcome, Michael. And yeah, I'm a fan of the non-group way of things. I have control of swiping right as my gesture to delete, and then swiping left to go to move to, and then I make folders or labels is what Gmail uses. So let's just say if it's related to iBUG, and I could move it to iBUG folder. So when I need to review, a item, I could quickly find it and it's kind of filed away. It's my own fashion of archiving, and I could recall it quickly. So two finger swipe right is what I have my gesture set to delete, and it could be just spam, junk mail, etc. And the group view, what it does, as Michael explained it, is it'll take like a whole conversation and group it as one. And yes, there is that collapse and expand, but last time I used it, there was a bit of confusion even with low vision. It didn't seem like it had a workflow to it. Who was the first person that sent it, or who was the last person that emailed in that string. So I kind of lean away from that too.
Thank you for
Kevin. One other thing that you can try to use, if you know a little bit about what's there, is you can use the screen search feature, so you can look for a certain name or certain keywords or something, and that might help you jump quicker through the message thread or whatever's there, to get to certain sections faster.
Thank you for that answer. Well, I'm going to go to Miss Ava over there. Miss Ava, you got anything in Amazon land, anything new that good folks should learn about or know about? Any new news on your end?
No, I haven't played with anything else new. I've just been Alexa, Lady A has been coming up with new things on its own, where if you ask for like I asked for the weather and it come back and tell me, I can let you know when you have rain coming or severe weather, and you can turn it on that way. So that's just some of the newest things I've noticed coming through. If you ask it one thing, it may give you the option for some quicker responses or quicker notifications like that. So just pay attention whenever you ask, like your device, hang on.
All right, so I guess there is some new features in Amazon land, and as far as Google is concerned, we have the Pixel Watch and the Pixel 7 Pro, Pixel 7 phones as far as hardware is concerned, and it's a good idea for the fall or for the upcoming spring to keep an eye on Google with what they do. There's been talks about tablets or maybe a speaker that converts into a tablet. So there's some cool little devices that are out there and worth looking into. If anybody that just came in wants to introduce himself and let us know where you're from and perhaps what kind of device you have, I'll give this floor to you. I got a shy bunch tonight. Okay, it's all right. Anyways, if anybody has any questions, feel free. Next question.
This is Renee.
Go ahead.
I was wondering if anybody else would use the Google List option. You know how you can use your G speaker or your Android phone to add something to your shopping list. And we've used that for a long time to be able to do our grocery list. But in the last like 4 months or so, the list no longer allows us to rearrange things on the list. And we used to be able to drag things up and down and group things so that when he went shopping, he could, group things by the stores he went to and by the things that were, purchased in the same aisle or whatever. And we have not had that functionality. I don't know if there's something I'm missing, adjusting somewhere, or is that something that just was lost in the functionality of those lists?
That is an incredible question. Thank you. Anybody have a suggestion or a solution perhaps for this? And
This is Kevin.
This is Google Keep, correct?
It's the Google, like the list. It's
Okay.
just you know, I
Yeah.
could
So
say, I could
and what
say,
it just, if you didn't, for your information, so to speak, here, it is known as Google Keep. So that, as you're talking about the list maker and stuff, the assistant has features built in that says make a list, add blah blah blah. So that uses a component called Keep. And just to give you an example, if you have a Gmail account, right?
yes.
Gmail is your email, Keep is your clipperboard, or your notebook keeper, trapper keeper kind of thing. And then you also have your to-do list, which that can offer you, if you have quick tasks and things to do, you could add that to your to-do list. So just to give others that component of, when you do have your Gmail account, these other tools are available with it, along with Google Slides, Sheets, Docs, and as well as voice, and there's plethora of things. And what's cool about, if you have your Google account, you do get 15 gigabytes of storage, so you could store a couple files and stuff. But I'm going to let Kevin answer about the specifics there with the list.
Okay.
So what she's talking about is there's also lists in the home app.
Yes.
But what happens is, if you have Google Keep installed, any list that you create while you're working on it or whatever gets sent to the Google Keep app. And a lot of people don't have that installed. They don't know to take notes, but that's the way that I go in and check the box, and then go to the actions and move up or move down or mark as done or something like that. So that's the way I've always done it. I don't know about I can see the lists, and I see the lists all the time in the Google Home app, but I do more of my managing through Google Keep, because I can go in there and I'm saying that you can't do this in lists, but I can go in and manually add items to the list as I think of them, and I'm not in a place where I can speak to my device or whatever. So maybe install Google Keep and see if some of the functionality comes back. And if not, then go through, Be My Eyes and Specialized Help and report the issue so they can fix it.
Okay. Because I have done the send feedback thing, but I haven't seen
No,
anything.
you do the specialized help,
Okay.
because you'll see the changes by going through and submitting feedback, but it takes a longer time. If you actually go through the specialized help through Be My Eyes, you get a case number, and they actually keep you updated as to what's going on with your thing that you've reported, even if it's a feature request.
Okay, so the Google Keeps, I've never known that existed. So I'll look at, because I always always ask my assistant on my phone or something to show me my list, and it'll just show it to me.
Yes.
Okay, so Google Keeps, and then go to the Be My Eyes for the specialized help to get a case number.
Yeah, but when you put Google Keep, you should see any list that you've created in the past or anything. You should see them there. They should sync over, and you should be able to see how you can manage them. Like, say, you check the box, or you can just go to actions and you can move that item up or down, or mark it as complete, or delete it.
We always, it just made me think, we always use the same list, the shopping list. And I wonder if we've got too many things in the deleted part, maybe because we don't, we just keep using the same list over and over again. So, okay, you gave me some things to try to see if I can, if we can resolve this, because it's very useful to have that. Because my husband does all the shopping, so it's just a really easy way to have a shared list that I can just tell when I'm in the kitchen, when I'm out of something or anywhere, and just say add it to my list, and things get added. So, okay. So Google Keeps, the Be My Eyes for help if that doesn't work, and maybe I also might need to clean up my list. Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're quite welcome. Thank you for that question. And here's another bit of information to get to the same place as g.co/disability support. That takes you to the Google website if you wanted to do it through the browser. And what that offers is you could email them, you could contact them, they could call you. by phone, or you could use the Be My Eyes option, which is a specialized help. On the Be My Eyes specialized help, it's call first available caller, and then at the bottom of the screen, there's a specialized help. Double tap that, and you will find Microsoft or Google, for example, here. And so when you tap onto Google, you'll be able to use your camera and go ahead and communicate with certain issues. So if you have two phones, this could be really useful. I recently used it for my thermostat because it was acting up, and they were able to help me go through the menus because there was a portion where it wasn't accessible. So definitely a really good recommendation to use the Be My Eyes app for any of those kind of situations. But if you wanted to email them or call them, g.co/disability support.
G.co/disability support.
Correct.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. And if anybody else has any questions, want to go next, go right on in.
This is Janice.
Oh, go ahead.
I use the triple tap magnification. So where you tap the screen 3 times and it magnifies, and you can move your finger around. It'll show you different areas of the screen, the page. But on the 10th of December, they pushed through an update which changed the way the triple tap magnification works. So now, once you triple tap it, there's a little square over in the corner, and you can, in the lower right-hand corner, and if you select it, you can select how large the magnification screen is. They have 3 sizes, and you can also scroll or change pages within the magnified area. But my problem is it doesn't give you access to the entire screen. Like once you magnify it, you can only see maybe the right quadrant. And if you go up, you can't see everything that's on the top of the screen or the left of the screen. It's not magnifying everything. I don't know, is this something that they need to fix in another update, or how can I make them aware of this? Or because I've talked to the disability people, and I find that a lot of the people aren't aware of the accessibility features. Like I've called 1 billion times and found one guy that could actually even get me to that point.
Thank you for that question. And this is Hershey. I agree with you on that statement. Where I would take a stab at it would be that there's probably something extra added to the puzzle, right? So that feature of how you just mentioned, you could swipe through pages and you have 3 types of zooms, but then the way you described it is it's a button that is docked to the right, or docked it's docked to the bottom of your screen, so to speak. So to get past that, I would probably want to go under the magnification settings as you would, and make sure that you still have the triple tap option available to you, and it's not set up as the accessibility button, perhaps. What the accessibility button, the way you're describing it, is it feels like there's a button down there, and then that button gives you the 3 different, small, medium, large. Whereas the triple tap was a pin, you triple tap with one finger, and then you just pinched in and pinched out, and then it would say, zoomed in at 700% at the maximum, or 200% at, I think, the bare minimum. So those are just a couple places, but I would open it to anybody else that might have an answer to that.
Yeah, my triple tap is still checked, so it's not utilizing the accessibility button to manage.
And to include that, is this on a Pixel or a Samsung device?
This is on a Samsung device.
Samsung device, okay. And what I could suggest is try to try to take away all the settings, and this is Hershey again, sorry about that. Try to take away all the settings in there for that, turn off that feature, for example, and then try to re-engage it to see if that is the new behavior. I know that they just released December's update on the S22 Ultra, for example, and I just haven't had enough time to play with the triple tap. I've had other issues with it, like selecting buttons and stuff. So just to make sure that maybe they might have set a update where to fix one thing they kind of broke the other thing.
Right, exactly. Because I've done that. I undid all my accessibility settings and put them all back on, and it's still that way. So that's why I was like, I don't know if I have to wait for another update to come, because that's what happened. They updated one thing. Somebody thought that triple tap needed to be fooled with, and and then they broke, how well.
It's always the truth. It's all the fiddling or adding way too much, to the pot, and then it's you lose the taste of the soup. So right. Sometimes you just have to let it be, and I would say it's good feedback that we all provide, even if we are low vision users. Sending an email just helps boil up the problem to the top, because there's been a lot of issues, just like we mentioned with Gmail, with grouping emails and stuff. I mean, if it's something that's going to take away from productivity time, then we need to really, let them know that it's important to us and to make that their priorities.
And how do you do that? How do you?
The gcode.support, okay. Disability support. So okay. I like to at least have a ticket in the file system, so to speak, right? So emailing them, you're writing stuff down, you're describing your issue, you know if they've sent you an email back or if they've forgot to send you something back. So you also have a record, whereas on the telephone, maybe it's recorded. Right. And then on the Be My Eyes, we don't know where it's getting recorded to or if we are recording. And so sometimes just having the luxury of written documentation is you could kind of come back to it and say, hey, I sent this bug report and you guys just haven't done anything. So
thank you.
You're welcome. And anybody else have any other questions, concerns, or if Ava, do you have any thoughts?
This is Foster.
Go ahead, Foster.
So when you triple tap, does it still allow you to pinch in and out?
Yeah, it does, but you can't see the entire screen. So
it's not letting you pan the full screen.
Right. So imagine
when you
had a screen that had A, B, the second row you had C, D, then you had E, F. So you could triple tap, but then you can't get up to see A, B, or you couldn't get over to see the D, it's only allowing you to see a portion.
So when you pan, are you using one finger or two fingers?
One finger. You only need to use one. It'll move all around.
I think they might have changed it to two.
So you think I need to do two fingers and that'll get me up?
I think they may have changed it where you have to pan with two fingers, because I noticed something different too with the that last update.
Well, I'm doing it now. It's only it won't even come on with two fingers. It's
no.
one.
So this is Hershey. Sorry, Foster, to interrupt you there.
No, go ahead.
You would triple tap with one finger. So that would activate it, and then once you activate it, you would use two fingers to pan around your screen. So let me see if I could get my device up. Just a second here.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull mine out too.
I mean, it'll pan around the screen with the one finger, but it won't go over. But so far, I can't see everything on the left or on the top.
Magnification off.
It really won't even go down all the way on the bottom. It's like only the central part of the screen.
Active. Envision AI.
Okay, so I'm going to triple tap with one finger.
Full screen magnification on 207%.
And it read out full screen magnification on at 207%. So when I use one finger,
Search double title Envision AI.
it's
Galaxy Store.
trying to pick focus on the icons. But if I use 2 fingers, I'm able to move my screen around. I'm able to kind of whip out the screen to different locations, but it's not picking at my icons that are
Right, exactly.
so holding it with holding it with 2 fingers should improve that experience for you there to pan around.
I mean,
And-
yeah, I can
and-
pan around.
okay,
Yeah,
you
but
can pan
it's
around,
not
and then
showing me the whole screen.
the
right.
only thing, as I was mentioning from earlier, is to check that the accessibility button is not ticked with the triple tap, because you could have both availabilities of triple tapping and have that button. So if that's the case, to just double check that maybe something like that didn't get toggled on by accident or by an update. Yep.
All right.
Oh, this is Foster again.
Go ahead, Foster.
And going back to Renee about the shopping list, you can adjust that in the Google Assistant.
You can adjust it in the Google Assistant?
Yeah, you can adjust your settings, the settings for the Google Assistant, and you go under notes and lists, and you can determine which particular list that you use. And then they have one key setting. It says do not sync with other services. If you check that, if you select that radio button, then it won't sync with other services, because that's what I have on mine. I don't have I don't even have Google Keep selected. I just have the regular list,
So
the shopping list that you create.
So where do you do that? In the list itself?
You go to the Google Assistant app,
Ah.
and on the settings. So like when you click your photo for your profile,
Okay.
it gives you a list of settings: home, control, languages, music, so forth. And then about the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 one down is notes and lists, and you click on that, and then it gives you some options there as far as manipulating a list, working with your list.
Okay. I'll go in there and check that to make sure that it's not synced. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Because if you sync it, that might be throwing it off. Or you can also check in that area. You can check, you can have your husband check to see if there's anything going on with the shopping list that you already have, and make adjustments there.
Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome. Hershey?
Thank you. Thank you for that. And so, any other questions?
Hershey? This is Foster.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I missed the last meeting, I think, but anybody cop that Google 7, that Pixel 7 Pro?
Anybody grab you a Pixel 7 Pro or 7? Anybody?
Kevin?
Oh wow, the famous words "This is Kevin" are not being said. I think he might be rocking the 6.
No, I don't. This is Kevin. I don't have it yet, but I'm getting it. I just don't have it. Oh yeah. A couple of people at work that have it, and one of the people who called in a couple of meetings ago had it.
Mm. What's people that have, what's their take on it as far as any of the new features?
Most of the people that I know like it. The main difference as far as accessibility is going to be the guided frame, but a lot of the people that I've spoken to say they don't use their phones to take pictures, so that they want to try out the guided frame for taking selfies. But that's the biggest, that's the biggest difference. There's there's some accessibility features that you have to have the tensor processor for the Pixel 6 or the Pixel 7 for, but most of the other stuff is across, and even the guided frame is coming to the Pixel 6 Pro. So there's not any accessibility differences.
Okay.
I have a question about that. This is Renee.
Go ahead, Renee.
I said, 'cause I have a Samsung, and I was thinking about the Google Pixel 1 because of the fact that it has the emojis that you can say the word for the emoji. Does the newer Samsungs do that as well?
This is Kevin. I don't believe they have pushed that to the Samsungs where you can dictate the emoji. It might work, it might not. That's a tensor thing. Just like being able to say delete last sentence, clear to delete a word. You can also just go right out of your dictation and say hit search, or you don't even have to say hit. You can just say send or search or whatever. So a lot of the commands are only enabled by the tensor processor on the Google devices, but I can't imagine that you won't be able to dictate emojis too much longer on Samsung. I'm sure it's coming.
You think it's coming to Samsung? I have a real old Samsung, so I'm looking to get a Pixel probably next year.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Thank you.
And this is Hershey. If the way I would look at this point, as far as cost is concerned, is if you are seeking to get into the Pixel ecosystem, go with the Pixel 7 or the 7 Pro. The 6A is for sale. 6A is available as well and also goes on sale, and that has a Tensor chip. But it's, I believe, the Tensor 1 versus the Tensor 2 chip found in the 7 and the 7 Pro. Next year in June, we'll have the Google I/O event, which is Google's kind of like iPhone does WWDC. It's Google's convention or what they're releasing and stuff. So more than likely you'll see the 7A released at that time frame. The Pixel 8 would be more than likely be in September or October. So it gives you a kind of an idea with funds and saving and all of that if you needed to buy for those specific time frames. If you are in the Samsung ecosystem and want to stick around in there, which it does do better, I would say, for low vision stuff in comparison to a Pixel device. The Samsung devices are typically January, February is the S series, so the S23 will come out then, more than likely. And then in the summertime, they have slated that for the Fold or the Flip devices. They used to have the Note in that mix up, but the Note has become the S22 Ultra at this point. So just to give you kind of a little bit of framing there of who's going to come out with what when. Sony makes Xperia phones. They're pretty decent phones. Motorola makes really decent phones for the cost effective aspects, but the reason why it's better to go with Samsung or Google is for the security and the operating system updates, because they support between 3 to 5 years, depending on which company you go with. And that means that your device is going to have a longer lifetime to go by. Like my Pixel 4 XL has had time of life, so it's sunsetted. So, the next one's up for the chopping block will be the Pixel 5 and so on and so forth. So just to kind of give you an idea, moving forward with the chips, and we say Tensor and all these little names, all it means is it's all done on the phone. So when you dictate, you could say, hey, delete this thing because I made a mistake, and then hit send. But that's all being done because that chip or that processor is doing all the fundamental stuff that it needs to, instead of going to the cloud, going to Google, then coming back from Google, because then the internet's not good and a lot of variables. So it makes it quicker, faster, efficient to have dictation on the phone, to have all of those engines right on the phone. So you have your pros and cons. Emojis and stuff, I think Samsung was one of the first to make them so creative, and they've kind of stepped away from that, and they're kind of competing with Apple-like features. So I would say put them out on Twitter or stuff like that at Samsung Accessibility or at Google Accessibility, and your wish might just become true. And you know, Pixel's doing it first because Google is made by or Android is made by Google, so that's why you have that wider variety of emojis or what have you. So, pick your poison, but always keep asking for stuff. We're worth it. Any questions, thoughts, concerns? I think someone might have trying to speak, perhaps. And from anybody in the Washington state have any questions? I was waiting on those questions.
This is Richard with.
Go ahead, Richard.
With
New York.
I was wondering with that one that had the problem with the magnification and couldn't see half. It's like half and half screen. I was wondering and thinking, is it possible that you have the multi-screen turned on? Then it splits the screen to where part of the screen is doing one thing and the other side of the other screen is doing something different. And it sounded almost like that could be a problem. That sounded like that is it too, because I had that same issue with mine. Multi-screen was on. I didn't know it until I wanted to do something. Once I wanted to do something, that's when the multi-screen got activated to where one side of the screen's doing something and the other side was doing something else.
So you're saying that you could have multi-screen on, but you could see your entire screen, but like if I hit the triple tap magnification, it's only going to let me see half of the screen or one.
It's a possibility if you have multi-screen turned on, because I didn't even know it on my phone, and it was weird because when I was at the main menu showing all of my apps, it showed all that, it let me do all that. As soon as I went to do something though, and I clicked into a certain app or wanted to do something particular, that's when the screen divided itself. So
Right.
The lower half was doing something else and there was stuff there, and the upper half was doing what I was wanting to do.
Right. I'll definitely check that out. But again, before the push, everything was working fine. And if I triple tapped, I could see the entire screen. If I went up to the right, to the left, down in the lower left corner, I could see everything. But once they pushed through this update, that's when everything went screwy. But thank you. Yeah, I'll try that.
And see what you just said there is where it gave me the clue. As soon as you double tap it, you triple tap it, you can see this whole screen, you're seeing everything, and right when you push it, that's when it divides itself. That's the same issue I had where I can do all that first, I got all of it, I see all of it, but as soon as I activate it, that's when it activated the multi-screen and it split everything.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'll put multi-screen in the search of the settings. Is that what I would do to find it?
Hi, this is Hershey. This is Hershey. If you look under display, under your settings, and you mentioned Samsung, so if you look under display or advanced features, sometimes they have a subcategory called advanced features. So they might put multitasking or what have you tools there. I know on my Ultra, they had like this, I could swipe from the corner of the screen and pull a panel out, so to speak. And I closed that panel down. But because I was using TalkBack as a screen reader, but if you're not, you could turn things on and off like that, where you could have, let's say, a widget bar kind of thing hanging out where you swipe from the right, and that could have, let's say, keep and a couple different things you go to all the time. And then you could, when you don't need it, you just kick it back off to the right and it disappears off your screen. But you might look under display or the advanced settings for the multi-screen or widgets and stuff that might make things act up that the way they do.
I'll definitely check that out. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
This is Richard.
Go ahead,
and
Richard.
again, and that's because it got aggravating for me, and I had to definitely find that. I went into settings because I'm wanting to do something. The upper half does what I want. The lower half is not, and I got to scroll down. Once my finger hits that halfway mark in the screen, now it's saying this app, that app, and I'm like, I thought I got out of the. I'm like, how did I get out of the app? I didn't go back. I didn't. Then I go, you know, and then I go up, and it's telling me everything else, and this is where I want to be. I had to go into settings, and I had to turn it off because that multi-screen can get a little aggravating for me when I can't see at all, and I can imagine even if you have some vision, it can get aggravating.
It can.
So I turned it off completely.
Okay, I'll definitely check that out.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Richard.
This is Kevin.
Go ahead, Kevin.
I just
Hi,
wanted her to know that the
sorry,
thing
Kevin.
that you're looking for is split screen and picture. So the split screen you can get to quickly by opening up your recents apps or your overview, which is on the top, which is on the bottom left-hand side or the bottom right-hand side, depending on how you have your nav bar set up. But when you go into your main settings, just type the word picture in the search box, and the screen setting that it has to do with will come up. There'll be some other things in there, but it'll actually show picture in picture. And you want to make sure you have that off for all apps, and you have to go in and uncheck every item, because it might be that you're in Chrome and it's going into picture mode. I don't know this to be true, but split mode or picture in picture could be it. So instead of having to go through all of your settings, just type picture at the top in the search engine. But there's usually a way to turn split screen on and off in the recent apps or overview or whatever it's called, depending on your phone.
Okay, I'll definitely check. I don't think that's what it is, but I'll definitely check it out. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you again, Kevin. And I heard somebody's voice there. Sorry about that.
Yes, Shay.
Hey, Shay.
Yes, Shay in Everett, Washington. And I recently got a new tablet, and everything transferred over except for my pictures in the gallery. So my old tablet is 7.5 years old, and I loved it, used it every day. But one day it wouldn't take a charge, and the battery light on the front just kept flashing. And no matter what charger I changed it to, it has never come back on. Is there a way to get my pictures out of there?
Okay, this is Hershey again. Anybody have any suggestions or thoughts for Ms. Shay?
Oh, this is Foster.
Foster.
What type of tablet was it, Shay?
The one that died is the
what type?
Galaxy Tab A.
Oh, I have one of those. No, I have that one. Okay.
Okay.
So your pictures, your photos, you never back them up like to the cloud, to like Google or to Samsung?
No, just there was a bunch of stuff in the gallery, a lot of screenshots and things, and I can't get those. I have pictures in Dropbox, which is a nightmare, but I didn't have many in the gallery. But there were lots of like directions and things. I would look something up, and so when someone would say, how do you change the timing belt? I'd be able to say, hey, I have a screenshot of that. Go look.
Okay, but you can't. So now you aren't able to get any type of charge or nothing on the tablet.
The old one will not take a charge. It just blinks the whole time with the battery and a little lightning bolt just flashing, and it never gets past 0% charged.
Oh, wow. Ooh. That's a tough one.
Yes, Ms. Shay, it is. This is Hershey again. It is a bit of a tough one. The only suggestions I have, and this might... Okay, so you have sometimes a Google and a Samsung account?
Yes.
1 second. Okay, so sorry about that. What I was trying to get at is with the Samsung account, you might be able to log in or do forgot password or try some way somehow to get in through that account and then see devices because there's two type of galleries. Like there's that Samsung gallery, which they've kind of deprecated. They're now going towards using Google or not Google, Microsoft Drive and stuff like that. So Samsung has made a bit of a switch from older like Note 9s and older phones where they used to use their own gallery and then they had their Samsung cloud and all of that. So if you are able to get into that account, you might then kind of peek around and see if there's a gallery or some saved documentation there and your pictures may have gone there. The other one would be on that same device, or if you remember what you might have logged in as on, let's say, a Google account, go to photos.google.com and try to see if you could locate it via device or just try to punch in an old date, like 2018 and see if you get a picture from 2018 because you haven't taken anything recently. And try to cross match to see, oh snap, it found one of these. Okay, so it did back up somewhere, but then you could kind of decipher between pictures or where they might have gone. Most of the times with photos on Android that I know of, it syncs up. I always just do a backup on my phone anyway, and the photos part does not count against your 15 gigabytes of storage. But if you had a video that you recorded and then you uploaded it to your Google Drive, that will count against your 15 gigs of storage. So even if you had like 20,000 emails, that's barely a couple of gigs. So not to kind of be frightened if you have like a bunch of mail in your mailbox, but if you do have big download files or people sent you stuff and you don't have it off your computer and you still have it on the cloud drive, then you're taking up that storage. So you may look again as photos.google.com, and the other part is to go to your Samsung account and then try to do forgot password or give them a call perhaps and say, hey, I got locked out and this is what the issue is. Because the only other alternative would be to take it to a repair shop and then see if they could pop in another battery, because at this point it just seems like a bad battery. And they could open it up and pop in a new battery to worst case scenario, and that could be a good way to turn off your lights and stuff. I don't know if you wanted to spend the $50, then that could be a fancy remote that you leave in your living room that controls your Google Home lighting or turn off the AC or something, or heater.
Thank you.
This is Ava.
Go ahead, Ava.
I would suggest calling the Samsung directly. Because if you have your account with them, then hopefully you've registered your device with them. Let them know what's going on with it, because a lot of times they could do it a lot quicker. Like in Houston, we have a Samsung store here that we can go to directly, and they do a lot of help in the store.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate all the information. Thank you.
And this is Hershey again. If you do have a Best Buy in your area, you might contact them. I mean, I know they do stuff for iPhones, so I got an iPhone battery for an iPhone 7 done for $50. So that's where I kind of got my price point at. And so if you have that whatever tablet, just be like, hey, what do you guys charge for battery replacement? Might be $30 to $50. At least you'll get it back in running order, and it might give it some life. But if it's something that you could do within the cloud accounts, then best of luck to you on that.
This is Ava again. The same thing Hershey is saying. This is why I say the Samsung store, because if they deem it's not a user issue, it's a Samsung issue, they'll replace it for free. Because I've had a phone where my battery exploded.
Oh my goodness.
I sent my phone to them and they sent me a new phone.
Oh, wonderful.
So that's what I'm saying. Call Samsung directly. Let them know what's going on with your tablet, especially with it not charging like that. And talk with them first, and then, they may do it and not charge you for it.
Thank you. I just love this call. Everybody is so helpful.
You're welcome.
All right, y'all, we are down to our last 5 minutes of our last show of 2022.
Hmm.
So, is there any more questions, comments?
I have a quickie. This is Shay.
Yes,
Go ahead,
Shay.
Shay.
Photo stick. Yay or nay?
Nay. Big nay.
Okay. Thumb
Um,
drive instead?
go to your local whomever, SanDisk or what have you. You have control at that point. When you buy the little selfie sticks or what have you, I mean, buying a phone is your phone technically is a huge selfie stick because you have
Mhm.
storage on it. So if you bought a 128 gig phone or 256 or 512, that's how much storage you have, right? So you hook it up through the wire into your computer and it says, oh, it's a flash drive, and they transfer faster. If you don't have that and you want a flash drive, SanDisk is owned by Western Digital now. They make really good stuff. They're super tiny. They have ones that have two-sided ones, so it has a USB side on one side, and then when you flip it, it's the USB A, the bigger one. So 128 gig for like $30, $20. I mean, they're getting really inexpensive. Other than that, selfie sticks, people put their advertising, their product, their stuff, and then it wants to track you, then it wants to take your contacts and know who you have on the contacts, and so it becomes a big web, and we want to stay kind of, avoid any of those data to leak out that way.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Of course. Anybody else have anything to say? Questions, thoughts, concerns?
This is Kevin.
Go ahead, Kevin.
I just wanted to bring everybody's attention to the reading mode app that I posted about. And that is one thing that can help with some of those group emails, but it works in just about every app. It's in the bottom right-hand corner usually, and it has human sounding voices so that you can read long books or articles or whatever. And it's an app that you actually download, and then you can go into the settings and tell it where to put the button, or if you want a button, an easy access button. But it can also help with like reading emails, and so that you don't have to worry about trying to track and refocus and things like that. So now there's a way to have basically the assistant read your emails instead of having to navigate and try to
What's
find
it called
everything.
again?
It's called reading mode.
Reading mode. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
This is Renee. I
Go ahead,
actually
Renee.
love it. I love it. It works great.
We got feedback right away. See, this is the cool part about this group. Thank you so much.
And this is Shay to Kevin.
Shay.
I put it on my laptop, my tablet right away, and I absolutely love it. It is so easy to use.
Perfect. So
thank you.
I would definitely suggest to people, write the feedback. Let them know how it is, what's broken about it, because they'll fix it to our liking. I know we didn't have the chance tonight to go in and hook up that Pixel phone. Remember the Pixel 6 Pro that we had last time? I mean, it's still here, and let's see, what does it say, just to give you a little teaser. See if it does anything. Does it do anything? Nope. Okay, let's see. Volume up. So I don't know. I say come back next year, January. We'll set this thing up, right? Let's see.
Next button. Can't you need your old Android or use your old device?
We'll do it later. But
All right.
thank you so much. This is always so much fun, and I appreciate everybody for the whole year that you've come. Today was just amazing to have all the repeated folks that are in here. Ava, happy holidays to you. Thank you so much for all you do. Miss Sandhya Rao, thank you so much to iBUG and the whole family for helping us do what we do here. And we hope to see you soon.
Yeah, and thank you, Hershey. This has been a wonderful year. I want to say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody. Just remember, we'll be back here in the new year on January 18th of 2023.
I'll miss you guys, man. Not a couple, man. Gotta wait 3 more weeks. You join our list. iBUG,